Hello and welcome to the Learn C++ course. My name is Luca and I'm going to show you how to prepare your environment on Windows using the latest Visual Studio and the newest SFML version. Because there are many questions on how to prepare your environment, that's because the course is now 2 years old and the software we use is a bit outdated. And SFML does not provide binaries for the latest Visual Studio. It only provides for the 2012 version, and we are using the 2013 version. So in this video I'm going to quickly show you how to prepare everything so you can follow the rest of the tutorial without any trouble. So first of all, go to visualstudio.com and get the free developer tools Visual Studio. Download a setup file, run it, and probably leave everything to the default except the location where you want to install Visual Studio. And you will get something like this. It's the Community Edition. It's something like Professional Edition last year, but now it's free. So now we're going to download SFML. So on their page, go to download SFML 2.1, and at the bottom you'll find source code, and you want to download that. Then, because SFML uses CMake to create build configurations, we want to go to cmake.org, download the either installer or the zip file. So I already gone and downloaded the CMake and SFML zips and extracted them. Now let's take a look at the SFML folder. In here we have CMake lists and other files that are required for CMake to work. We also have external libs folder in bin, and because we're going to build for 32-bit environment, we're always going to use the x86 folder. So we're going to use these DLLs later when we use sound loading and sound playing. Other than that, there's the include folder, which we'll need when actually building our game. And that's basically it. There are also examples, but we don't need it. So let's create a new folder and I'll call it build. Now let's go back to the CMake, extract the folder into the bin and run CMake GUI. You'll see a friendly prompt where you want to specify where our source code is, where we want to build the binaries, and there are going to be additional settings down here. So click Browse Source, go where we have the source, so C, SFML, SFML sources, SFML 2.1. We want it to be the root folder where we can find the CMake, examples, and so on. Click OK, and then we choose Browse Build. We go to the same folder, so C, SFML sources, and let's select the build folder we created previously. Click OK, and now when we click Configure, it will ask us what project do we want to build, and we want to make Visual Studio 12 2013, not to be confused with Visual Studio 14 or Visual Studio 11 2012. So once again, Visual Studio 12 2013. Use the default native compilers and finish. CMake will check if everything works, so if we really have Visual Studio, and we'll create some configuration for us. We don't want to change any of this, so let's just click Generate. And it will generate the project files, and we don't need CMake anymore. Let's go back to the SFML folder, into the build folder, and here we'll find that it created Visual Studio project files. And we want to open the all build Visual project file. So let's open that. It will open Visual Studio, and on the right you'll see all the different projects you can build. And we want to build a debug and a release version of everything. So make sure we are set to debug, right click on all build and click build. This will take some time, but at the end it should say that everything compiled successfully. As we can see, A to see that nothing failed. Now we change debug to release and repeat the process. Right click on all build and build. Take some time and done. It succeeded. With this, we have successfully built Visual SFML library for our version of Visual Studio, something they don't provide on their site. So now, in the same folder, in the build folder, we have a new folder called lib, in it a debug and release folder, and in them, if we sort by type, we'll find DLL files and lib files. In the debug folder, they'll have -d in their name, and in the release folder, they'll just be plain SFM audio -2. So we're going to need those when developing our game. So now we have everything ready. So let's create the basic project, and build it so we can use it in the further read. Start up Visual Studio, create a new project, C++ general empty project, and let's name it SFML course, doesn't matter, and click OK. Right click on the source files, add new item, a CPP file, and I will call it main. So here we are going to write our code. So I'm going to go to the SFML site, to the tutorials, and I'm just going to copy the main code to use to get a basic window running. As you can see, we get errors because it does not find this file. So we want to properly configure our project to be able to build it. So right click on our SFML course and go to properties. So currently we are changing the debug version, but you will probably want to also change your release version later. But for now, let's change the debug. So what we have to change is the C++ general, want to additional include directories. We want to point this where the include folder for SFML is. So click edit, add new folder, and point it to where we have SFML, the include folder, and done. Then we want to go to linker, general, and do the same for additional library directories. Click on edit, new, add, open, find SFML. So we go into the build directory, lib, and then debug, because we're creating the debug configuration. And click select folder. And OK. So later, when you're going to do the release configuration, just up here, change the configuration to release, and make sure to select the release folder here when changing this. Apply. So now we have to change or set up that we're going to actually use the library. So go to linker, input, and under additional dependencies, edit, and we want to add SFML -main -d.lib. We can actually check the names. So we go to lib, debug, and here a bit lower you'll find the lib ones, and later you'll probably add audio when we're going to do sound, but that's basically it. So we want to add main.d.lib, we want to add window, we want to add graphics, system, and let's also add audio. When you're making your release configuration, make sure to remove the -d, because they don't have the same names. If you look here, they're just SFL main, SFL network, and so on. So now we have that set up. We click OK, and we have everything ready to build our project. Click on Apply, OK, and go to Build Solution. And we have successfully built our solution. The only thing left is to copy the DLL files to the folder where our project is located. So back to the SFML folder, into the lib and debug folder, and let's take all those DLLs and copy them. And in Visual Studio you can right click on your project and then open folder in Explorer and paste them in that folder. So now we go back to the project and click debug, start debugging, and we get the working window up. You can also click the green play button and you get the same effect. So now we have SFML working, and you can continue with the course to build actual game. What you also want to do is go back to the SFML folder, back where we found the external libs, bin x86, and copy those DLLs into your project folder, because you'll need them when you start loading sound files. And with this, you're ready to begin developing your game. I hope this will help you set up your environment, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.